right, I lied. What can I say? I said final mock draft before free agency. Okay, one more, because I'm addicted to this crap, okay? One more. It's a weekend. Nothing happened yesterday. The Bears got me all excited the previous days before that. Then I'm sitting here scouring all day long, wanting something to do. Nothing happens. The Bears do absolutely jap bubkiss. Put another mock draft together. And actually, I really like this mock draft, so let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys aren't getting sick of mock drafts because I really enjoy them, and I keep refining them and thinking I'm getting somewhere. And after I put out the Kenneth Grant video yesterday, I said, you know what? Josh Simmons is fun. The idea of a tackle's fun, but we really need to shore up that defense. We've been shoring up the offense in free agency. We're probably going after a center right in free agency, probably Drew Dahlman. If not, Ryan Kelly, someone. We're going to shore up that offensive line. Now we got to get the defensive line. If we do that, then we've really fixed things. So that first pick needs to be the defensive line, right? Well, I did the video on Kenneth Grant, and I talked myself into it. I mean, he's a beast. He's a beast of a human being. At one point, 360 pounds, trimmed down. He's only getting slimmer, only getting more muscular, only getting more refined. His get off is elite. I did it. I went ahead and did it. So, as always, we move me off screen. Here's the additions we've done so far. The salary cap sitting right down there at $41 million. We see we have 7 draft picks. Let's roll right through this thing. And here's our free agency and the signing. So these 4 were already done. You guys already have seen these 4. They're already done. We're going to go after Drew Dahlman. Now, the rumors you hear is that the Niners are in on him, and maybe the Seahawks now, maybe the Raiders, different things. I don't think the Raiders are. I think they're going to stick with Jackson Powers-Johnson. That's the whole reason they got rid of Andre James. They like their interior offensive line. They could do some things, though. I know a lot of you aren't going to like this. Bear with me. I just like the thought process of this, of just keeping Coleman Shelton one more year. He already has been with Caleb for a year. We're going to sign him to 2 years and develop a rookie behind him, okay? He was with Caleb for a year, and he was an Iron Man. Didn't miss any time whatsoever this last year. Took every snap with Caleb. I think but one. So every snap with Caleb, we're going to bring Coleman Shelton back. Like it or not, it's what I'm doing, okay? Thought process go through my head. I don't think the Bears are on this thought path at all, but if they don't get Drew Dahlman, if he gets too expensive, he gets up to Creed Humphrey money, and he's not anywhere close to Creed Humphrey. Guys, I'm telling you right now, Drew Dahlman is not Creed Humphrey. He's not even in the same ballpark. Doesn't belong in the same city. Doesn't belong in the same... Anyway, so Drew Dahlman, Creed Humphrey, Drew Dahlman, way down here. And closer to him, Ryan Kelly and Coleman Shelton down. There's no... You got Creed Humphrey and Frank Ragnow, and I know Ben Johnson probably wants the center of the future, but he might have to draft that guy. So we might have to draft him. So we're going to take Coleman Shelton, 2 years, $12 million, $6 million a year. That's kind of his range right there for the, he's a top 10 center last year, right on the fringe. He's 10 or 11. So he's not terrible. He has his problems, though. He's a little light. He can get bull rushed. But I think with 2 Pro Bowl guards on each side of him and shoring up the guard position, having that, I think it's going to help the entire offensive line. So we bring Coleman Shelton in, and if he gets beat out by the rookie, so be it. The Mack is back, guys. Khalil Mack is going to be the primary target there. I know this is a little bit bigger than some of you want to pay on Khalil Mack, but we're going to go 2 years, $35 million. Some places say he's up in the mid-20s. Some places say he'll settle for half that, $13 million. I'm going to say we get him to do a hometown. You're not going to be at a 3-down edge. You're not going to be in there on 3 downs. You're going to be there 2 downs, 1 down per set, and you're going to be preserved a little bit, end up your career, develop some of these guys behind you, and thank you for your service. Retire as a Bear. So the other 2, I'm not coming off Rondell Moore. I like him a lot. And then the new one, I spelled his name out. It's not Levin. It's Levi Onwuzurike. I hyped him up last year. He re-signed with the Lions for 1 year. Had a decent year, actually a little bit of a down year, but I still like his production from the year before. I really like the way he plays. He doesn't get blown back. He's up there on the line of scrimmage every play. His tackles are right there at the line of scrimmage. He'd be a good rotational guy with Gervon Dexter. He's not replacing Gervon Dexter. He would be the backup. So we're not going to overspend on the backup to Gervon Dexter. We're going to spend the premium draft capital in the draft on the nose tackle to pair up with Gervon Dexter, Khalil Mack, Montez Sweat, rookies developing behind the 2 defensive ends. I like the path of this. This is where I'm going with it. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe I'll put a poll up. But I like where this is headed. So we bring me off again. Boop. And you see we still have some work to do. But with this hypotheticals, that leaves the Bears with $7.249 million in slush fund. We'll call it slush fund in Ryan Pohl's buffer. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spots in the draft and 7 draft picks. So you know what that means. You know what Ryan Poles is going to be up to. And guys, if he doesn't fill all 10 of those in the draft, obviously we have 7 picks. He can do 7 picks, and we can fill up these, final ones. Say a backup left guard or a backup defensive end or a backup safety. Oh, man, there's no a backup linebacker. Something in here. We can have one of them. Be a league minimum guy or someone from, the depths of the Bears right now that would fit the system. We can have one of them work out. Maybe this is Colin Johnson and we give him a shot. So if it doesn't work out with the trade downs, that's what could occur. So jump right into it. And we are going to trade down again. We're going to do it. And I only did what the simulator gave me. And I'm going to tell you guys on this one, we might not agree on what picks are going to be available where. But the reality is nobody knows how this draft is going to pan out. So I decided on this one, I'm going to go what the simulator gave me. I'm only going to take draft swaps that they're going to give me, what they're going to propose. And I'm only going to trade and make those picks at where they're available there. And I didn't expect some of these to be there, so I took some of them. Like, for example, at 72, I said, I'm going to take my running back at 72. I really like Cam Skadagbu lately again. I think his contact balance is amazing. He's a dual threat. He actually threw some passes at Arizona. He's Arizona State, sorry. Threw some passes. He's a great receiving back. I don't think he dropped anything. I think he had the best NFL passer rating when targeted out of any running back this last year. Now, I think Ashton Jeanty was right up there the year before, but Ashton Jeanty had a really terrible year with that this year. Dropped several passes, 11% drop rate. So Cam Skadagbu, right off the top of my head, I'm going to take him at 72. And then, of course, Quinshon Judkins falls to 72. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But for the scenario of this, it did, so I took him at 72. So just keep that in mind. These might not happen the way that we think they would happen. But who knows what's going to happen on draft day? Nobody knows what's going to happen. So we do end up trading down from 110 with the Colts to 114 for 380 and 152. And then I did not actually plan to trade down again. I was just going to do a singular trade down because I think that's more of Ryan Pohl's MO. You'll see as I get into it that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came a-calling, and I looked at it, and I said, okay, I just took a screenshot of, here's the proposal they're giving me, and it's a pretty good trade value. We're getting the edge on that. And then I said, okay, here at 14, how many of these players below? As you can see below here, I'm looking, how many of these do I really like? And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. To go from 14 down to 19, they're going to give me 384 and 120. I accept that. I couldn't pass it up. And if I'm Ryan Poles, that's what they're doing on draft day. They're sitting there in the draft room. They're in the war room. All right, are we willing to trade down from here? We've got we got our gold level, we got our red level, we got our yellow level, we got our green level, our blue, purple, whatever. They've got their levels and they've got their pods, and they say, okay, are we good right here? Is there someone we love? Maybe we want Walter Nolan like crazy. Maybe we love Walter Nolan. We don't want to trade down. Not happening. He's one of our blue chip guys. We're good. We traded down once from 10 to 14, and we got our guy. Boom. Let's take Walter Nolan or any other player. But if they're sitting here and all these guys are kind of level. And they're saying, well, we just got offered 19, 84, and 120. And the needs we have and who fits down the trade chart or down our big board and who's sitting there in that 80, 120 range. Wow, we really like how this is looking for us. Well, let's go ahead and execute that. So we traded down again, and then we took Kenneth Grant. And if you guys didn't see that video, I put that one out yesterday, my draft prospect profile, Kenneth Grant. And I would be very excited for the Bears to take Kenneth Grant. And then, spoiler alert, you already saw the last draft here, the last trade. I'm actually trading back up. So at the end of day one, there's always teams that try to trade to number 32. So this number 32 pick is 33. 33 pick is very valuable. They want to, you leave for the day because that's the end of day one. So you leave for the day, and teams have a chance to reconvene at the end of the day, talk about who they like, talk about who they might want to get. And in this scenario, I say the Browns aren't willing to trade out of that. No, we took our quarterback. Now we need to get several other pieces. They do need a defensive lineman. So this actually fits the scenario really well. We're not willing to trade. Well, the Bears are sitting at 39. They try the next best thing. Okay, Giants, we want to come up. We want to trade you. What would it take for you to get there? And this is actually a good trade for them too. Only 5 spots, and they get a 4th rounder for that. So we trade them a 4th rounder. we come up. We could sweeten it with the 6th rounder for next year or something, but it's actually it favors the Giants in that scenario. So they drop back 5 spots. We trade up. We're giving away that 120 that we got in the trade from Tampa Bay, and we take Nick Emanwari. Now, I know some of you might be saying, safety is in a huge need of position for us. Well, all 4 of our safeties are coming at the end of their contracts this year. They're all going to be free agents after this year. And Nick Emanwari, I've told you guys, I think he's a first-round talent. I think he's absolutely – I did a hype video on him too. I think he could go in the top 15. He can go to the Colts at 14, who really need that help. He can go to several teams, Jacksonville. He can go to many of these teams in there. So that's why we trade ahead of Jacksonville here, because they would really love to take him as a safety. So Nick Emanwari, I'm not going to go into all the details of him again, but go watch that video. Just type in, under my channel, Nick Emanwari. You're going to get a whole slew of information on him. He's built like a linebacker, but he's quicker than almost every safety and cornerback in the league. He stays hip to hip with everybody. Great ball hawk skills, great tracking skills. He would be an immediate impact. He would start over Jaquan Brisker hands down. Maybe we end up trading Brisker later. Who knows what happens? Maybe we, cut Jonathan Owens. Maybe we save some money with someone somewhere. But either way, you bring him on because that gives you some future at the safety position. So we did trade up for that one. Then you can see here the next one, we're going to take Landon Jackson and edge to be able to learn and develop behind Khalil Mack, behind Montez Sweat. So we are taking Landon Jackson. I think he fits the system way too well for Dennis Allen. So I think he's a perfect fit. And then here's what rounds out the rest of – I moved the wrong thing. Rounds out the rest of our picks. So at 119, we took Kenny Grant. We traded up, took Nick Emanwari, and I did specify him strong safety and linebacker. And he could play any one of those positions. And Dennis Allen does play a lot of 5 defensive back sets. He's even played multiple safety sets, 3 safeties in there. So Nick Emanwari comes in, and he's an immediate impact player. He would start day one over honestly, any of our safeties. I think he would be the best safety on the field, even over Kevin Byard. So Landon Jackson, and then you see we got down to 72. I explained this. I really was planning on taking Cam Scattaboo there, and if not him, I'm still happy with one of these other ones. Bashul Tutton, DJ Giddens. Like, there's several right there. I'm still okay with the Bears taking them. You have a 1-2 punch with DeAndre Swift, and a lot of people are being hard on DeAndre Swift, but there was a lot of highlight plays he had this last year, and DeAndre Swift is still got some juice in the tank. And Ben Johnson did hype him up a little bit, but we're taking Quinshon Judkins, who absolutely would be a 1-2 power punch with DeAndre Swift, and I love it. So we took it. It was there. We took it. I don't think it's realistic either, guys. I get that, but I took what was there. Mason Taylor was there at 380, and I had my option between Mason Taylor and Elijah Arroyo. Took Mason Taylor because of the health of Elijah Arroyo. Could have taken either one of those, though. Tate Ratledge, we haven't talked enough about him lately, but I think he's right there with Jared Wilson. Those two were really the 1-2 tandem punch for the Georgia offensive line this year. So we're going to take him as our backup left guard to develop. Then we're taking Holland Pierce at 5'149", backup tackle. That would make Kiran Amagaji more of a swing tackle, and Holland Pierce learning behind Braxton Jones, maybe following in the footsteps, being a late round, a third-round pick, a day 3 pick to develop into the starter. Holland Pierce is rising boards. I mean, he cut over almost 100 pounds, and he's still a freaking monster. 6'8", 36-inch arms, which we know the Bears love, but he's very unrefined. He needs to work on his kick slide. He wouldn't be starting this year, but maybe he could work some time in behind Braxton Jones. We'd see what happened. Several wide receivers here. I don't want to keep taking the same ones over and over, but Pat Bryant really was the best option, and he fits the Bears so well, and he's from Illinois. It just makes too much sense. I don't think Jake Majors will be here at 235 either. I really don't. A multiple-year starter, played really, really well. Couple flaws in his game, but he could develop behind Coleman Shelton. So I took him. I planned on taking a center earlier. It's just not how the board fell. It's just not what happened. So maybe the Bears after this could end up trading. They could trade a future pick. They could do something and maybe get Eric McCoy out of New Orleans. Who knows? We could do something after the trade, after the draft. It doesn't end at the draft. There's still moves that can be made after the draft, things that can happen. And then the Bears did meet with Kane Medrano at the Combine. He was one of the visits they had, and actually both UCLA linebackers. And so we're going to take Kane Medrano as our final pick, 7-242 from UCLA. So there it is. I don't always show this, but here is, and sometimes I don't always take the picks that are supposed to be there because I don't think they're realistic. But for this one, like I explained, I'm just taking what was there. So I did, what we showed on this one. It's exactly how it rolled out. Kenny Grant, Nick Amanwari, Lana Jackson, Quinshon Judkins, Mason Taylor, Tate Ratledge, Holland Pierce, Pat Bryant, Jake Majors, and Kane Madrano. So it is what it is. Is it realistic? I don't know. None of us knows. We really don't, because when we get to the draft, maybe these teams have things that they like that bump people up, and maybe Quinshon Judkins falls. Teams like Travion Henderson more, and then a run on running backs went, and they weren't planning on Quinshon Judkins either, so they still took their guy, and then Quinshon falls to us, and boom, we fall in our lap. Same for some of these other players. Jake Majors at 235. Who knows what will happen, but we took it. So last, as we always do, let's run through. And I didn't do all the circles perfectly. It is what it is. But the players are correct. So Braxton Jones with Holland Pierce learning behind him. Karan becomes the swing tackle that could really fill in on both sides. And he probably would fill in early in the season ahead of Holland Pierce. But this is where you want Holland Pierce to be learning and developing in case he could take over for Braxton eventually. You got Joe Thuney, Coleman Shelton. I know a lot of people aren't going to love that one. I get it, but he really did play decent last year. And with these two around him, he's only going to play even better. He is a little bit smaller. I get it. He gets a bull rush now and then. He's there to help develop. And if we don't love that we took a late pick on Jake Majors, you could still end up pulling off a trade layer. It might have to give a little bit more than you wanted to, but you could still end up doing some things. We'd see what happened. Jonah Jackson, Darnell Wright. Then you got Tate Ratledge. Learning in the weeks, these three rookies is what I want this. I want three rookies on the offensive line developing behind some of these guys. That's really what I want. And if it's not Coleman Shelton, maybe you want to put Ryan Kelly in there and pay an extra $4 million. That's fine. Put Ryan Kelly in here if you guys like that. I'm just thinking we may not get Drew Dahlman like a lot of us think we're going to. So moving forward, there's no change here on the quarterbacks and running back page because Quinshon Judkins is the same one we took in the last draft. So this is the same thing. Then we're going to have Rondell Moore. We're going to have Pat Bryant. We have Mason Taylor. And then we have Durham Smythe, the new addition there as well. Defensive line. I actually really like this defensive line. I might like this the most out of anything here. With Levi Onwuzurike behind Jervon Dexter. And then Kenny Grant with Andrew Billings filling in when he needs to. And then Khalil Mack back. The Mack is back. And him in front, and that he would be such a help to these young guys. Austin Booker, Landon Jackson, he and Montez Sweat helping these guys. They're going to develop. This is such a good defensive line to help us. No, I'm not sold on Zach Pickens, and no, we shouldn't have Blue around him. So I screwed up there. Forgive me. It is what it is. Doing this at the daylight savings already kicked forward. This is 3 a.m. It's supposed to be 2 a.m. It's 3 a.m. I got to get to bed. All right, Nichols, linebackers. No big changes here other than we took Kane Madrano for the first time ever. I've never taken him before, but the Bears did meet with him. And then here's a big change. I did not circle him. See, there's my blue. It should have been on this one from the blue circle on the other screen. But Nick Amanwari is a huge addition here. Actually, he'd be over the strong safety side. I got to flip these guys. My bad. Just pretend those say different things. So anyways, that's the Bears. And I really like the way this one turned out. You guys let me know what you guys think, though, because you've always got an opinion on this. But this has turned into my favorite. It's always changing. It's always updating. It's always becoming my new favorite one. What can you do? I'm the one making the mock draft, so what can you do? That's probably the way it's always going to be for me, but maybe you guys don't like this one. And maybe it's a little unrealistic with Quinshon Judkins there and Jake Majors going all the way down to 235, but you never know who's going to fall. You don't. You never know who's going to fall. So we're going to roll with it. Let me know what you guys think, though. We're 1 day away from right freaking now, this very second. Not when I'm recording this, but when this was released. 1 frickin' day away from free agency. So enjoy the last day of sanity because it's about to break loose. All hell's about to break loose, and we're going to have some fun. So with that, appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. We're going to keep rolling this thing. You guys are having a good time. I'm having a good time. Let's keep rolling it. Hit that like button. Hit the notification bell so you get new updates when we release stuff and we have big breaking news. Until next time, da Bears. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bear down.